how did you get into working with the elite guys and I suppose the old Bullet Club at that stage, but how did you sort of get in tight with those guys?
I don't know how it exactly happened. I remember like the first bit I did was with the Young Bucks in Tijuana, Mexico. And at the time, I didn't really even know what being the elite was. I know who the Young Bucks were, but I didn't follow the show. And they were like, "Hey, man, we just kind of need. We heard you signed with Ring of Honor. We'd love to do like a little bit with you." Blah blah. And they did that bit, and then that episode. That's when Cody said, "Who the f is Flip Gordon?" And that kind of just got me trending on Twitter. Essentially, Cody's genius when it comes to marketing and stuff like that. And so like that is kind of how it started. But I don't like me and Cody were on the road together for quite a bit when he first came to the independents because I was on my way up and he was brand new. So like we would drive to shows because we were on all the same shows essentially. And so we got to know each other very well. And so I don't know like if he ended up putting me over to the Bucks and I was like, hey man, this kid, he's got something. I'm not sure.
Mm.
But that's
How did
essentially how it happened.
how like because like you traveling with Cody was like I mean because you would have seen this guy on national TV, the son of Dusty
Oh,
Rhodes,
I grew
and
up watching him. I
yeah,
watched him when I was in high school, if not,
like how,
before then.
were you intimidated to be around him at the start? Were you like, oh fuck, like
Not really. Cody was a sweetheart. He was always super nice, like very easy to get along with. Um, but like it was funny because when we started doing the being the elite stuff, like I wasn't sure if it was like a legit harmless rib. I was like, all right, how long is this gonna go for? Like, are they just gonna be all right, man? Thanks, get out of here now. Like I didn't know, and then like next thing you know, I'm on it for years, or maybe not years, but it was quite a long time.
it was a
I
solid run?
became a regular character of the show. And at the time, I didn't even realize how big the show was until looking back now. I was like, man, that show was massive. That really helped my career.
Dude, but
And I'm forever grateful for the boys for helping me and just basically being like, here, can you do this? And then be like, yeah. And then obviously it got over online and I was still able to just perform and, you know what I mean, do what I needed to do to be on the show. And I ended up, that was probably the most fun I had in my career was being on Being the Elite.
but also as well, I feel like your character on Being the Elite was like this such a lovable underdog. Whereas, like, I mean, when I would watch it, I'm like sitting there going, man, it's really hard. Like, I'm really rooting for this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I really want to see this guy get into the stable. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and it
Like
was
that.
cool because I didn't have a gimmick really back then. I was just the former military guy. But
Yeah.
being the elite character was basically my character. That was my gimmick. But
Mm.
it was just me. I was just being genuine. And I do have a genuinely underdog story.
But I feel like even with that as well, like being so new into the business, it would have been such a like
It
learning
was sink or
experience as
swim.
well. Yeah. But
I
also
didn't
just
have no
learning
choice,
as well, like but to build that character up and to understand the role and be at a part in that as well.
I remember like talking to the boys once and they were like, with like the where do you think you're going and then like stuff like that. They're like, I wonder how long we can get this to. You think we can go a year? I remember Matt Jackson one time being like, you think we could go a whole year with this whole bit? Because they wanted to do stories,
Mm. Yeah. And like
But
that's
then
where
we
I think
eventually paid it off with I want to go home.
yeah. Well, that's what I think like being the elite, even now, like with AEW, it's like it's just another way for them to progress storylines and stuff like that. And it's always been like one of those really entertaining, sort of shows, especially when like, I mean, like the little digs of like the insider shit that like the real smart marks are going like, oh, you know what I mean? Like those sort of moments. It's like, and the digs and the
Yeah.
jokes. I really have enjoyed the show, man.
One of
But
the
like,
biggest memories I have during that time, sorry to interrupt,
uh,
I just don't want to forget this thought, but was the where do you think you're going? There was this show, I believe it was no, it wasn't Atlanta. I think it was like Pittsburgh. It could have been Atlanta,
yeah,
or Columbus. It was one of those three, I'm pretty sure. And Matt Jackson ended up grabbing the microphone, and in the match, I'm going to tag like blind, and I grab his hand, wrong corner, right? Trying to
yeah,
tag
yeah,
my
yeah.
guy to get out, and he does the "Where do you think you're going?" and the whole crowd came up huge for it. And it was like, that was our high spot. Our high spot was, where do you think you're going? And people would come up to me, and every place I went, I would, like, first time in Ireland, people would come up, where do you think you're going? And like that, everybody wanted to do that with me. It's crazy. Like how over that got. So
do you
simple.
still get it? Do you still get it today?
Oh, not as much, but I definitely still get it today.
That's awesome, man.